You were never really into the drug scene, the cocaine thing, but you were more of a champagne and wine man.
Yeah, that's what it was. I would drink a rum and coke or something like that, or have some kind of a vodka grapefruit once in a while. But I just never got into the heavy drinking, and the coke thing. I didn't get it. I just didn't get it. Because first of all, it's bad for your throat, and I just didn't get it. I was hyper enough already. I didn't need to be any more hyper. But like they said, they say in many movies that if you bought cocaine in the 80s, there was an 80% chance it came from Carlos Escobar, because, and apparently it was like real pure, and, and you didn't get out, there was not stuff in it to make you speedy and something like that, they said it was like the real deal. But it just wasn't my cup of tea. I don't know. I was so, I guess, obsessed. I look back now, I was just talking about the other night on the road. We just got home 3 days ago. It was a really rough tour in the East Coast. And I said, man, I look back and I kept thinking, I just want to headline the Whisky one day. That was my mountain. I wanted to headline the Whisky someday on a Friday night. That was I wasn't thinking about the arenas and 10,000 people and selling millions of records. It really never was on my radar, because it really did seem unachievable to me, but I thought, well, if we can become a local band and we're popular and, I have a job and, and we'll do this until we can't do it anymore. So people have asked me, a lot of musicians said, what's the secret, Don? And how'd you get famous? And I said, look, I'm not bullshitting you when I say this. I guess it's half talent and half luck. It's just the right time at the right place. If I wouldn't have met Dieter Dierks, just by chance, I never would have got to sing on the Scorpions album. And the manager of Accept happened to be in there, and she took my cassette to Germany, and it's all well documented. And I got my first record deal on Carrera for a whopping $8,000. I mean, it was in marks, and I knew what marks, how much the difference was, and it was something like, I don't know, 30,000 marks or something, or 20,000. And I said to Michael Wagner, I said, how much money is that? And he goes, about $8,500. So I always remember my first record deal being $8,500. That was my budget.
That was some story, wasn't it? You'd spent a bit of time in Germany before, and then you end up at Dieter Dierks' studio, which is out near Cologne. And then there was the meeting with Accept's manager, Gabby Hauke, and her getting the tape, and then you getting the deal with Carrera. That was almost like a perfect jigsaw puzzle of pieces just slotting into place.
Yeah, but think about, if I do remember the day I was supposed to leave for Germany. My first tour of Germany in '79, I played clubs. And I remember I almost didn't make the plane, I almost didn't go. And it was a nightmare. We were on one of those charter planes, and, cheap tickets, and we're all squeezed together. And we took our equipment, and we show up at the airport, and we've got like drums, amplifiers, guitars. You can't do that anymore. And then we showed up at the quote unquote excess baggage, and we're wheeling carts of equipment out to the runway long before 9/11 and bringing all our junk with us. And, it was funny. I look back now, it was hilarious when the guy goes, these are your bags. Yeah, we got 12. And then again, if I wouldn't have went to Germany in '79, did that club tour, I wouldn't have met Dieter, because we went to Germany, and of course Juan Crucier was the original member of Dokken, and we were a three-piece, and I was still lead singer, lead guitar player, and they had a kid drive us around. He was like 21 years old. I remember his name was Nico Lafrance, And apparently he had done the first U.S. tour of the Scorpions because their English wasn't very well, and he spoke perfect English. So he started telling me he knew the Scorpions, and I went, "Oh wow, really?" I said, "Can you, introduce me to Dieter Dierks, And he said, "Yeah, maybe, if you come back again." So it's all this acts of God, in my opinion. The kid that drives us around Germany, turned out he was the interpreter for the Scorpions, and he knew Dieter, and then we go back a year and a half later and do another tour of Germany. The cool thing about that now, looking back, is we played the exact same clubs that are mostly gone now that the Beatles played. The Star Club and the Top Ten and the Reeperbahn, the Hooker Street.
Oh.
It's that Reeperbahn is all hookers, And it's just funny, you can have that in America. So for me to go to Germany, I said, "So you tell me this one special couple streets, prostitution's allowed?" Because, it was one of the biggest seaports in the world, Hamburg. And the government, I think they did a clever thing. They thought, we'll just make this area legal, and the girls have to be checked and have a card that they don't have their own diseases. And it became an infamous just row after row of Euro Center.